They appreciate the military. Military Appreciation Night as we launch Week 10 in the Canadian Football League with the Bombers hosting the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Trevor Harris set a club record last week, throwing the ball all over the yard with 54 attempts, completing 44 of those, only one shy of the club record set by his mentor, Henry Burris.
William Powell will be up for this game. All the talk about Andrew Harris, who's leading the league, but right on his tails is the tailback, William Powell.
People are asking what's wrong with Matt Nichols. He's only averaging 210 passing yards a game. Well, they're 4-1 since he's been back in the lineup, and they also have the #1 offense in the CFL. He seems okay to me.
Bombers seem okay with this guy, Andrew Harris, 720 yards, leading the way in rushing. I mean, Winnipeg leading just about every offensive category in the Canadian Football League, and certainly on the ground. They have been outstanding, looking to keep it going against the Ottawa REDBLACKS tonight. Welcome to Week 10 of Friday Night Football here on TSN. Also, the league launching its Diversity is Strength campaign tonight as well. Special tribute to former Bomber Abi Khan, who remains a prominent fixture in the Blue Bomber community and in Winnipeg. Rod Smith, Davis Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel, all here as we anticipate this meeting, Matty, of 2 5-3 teams. Now, the REDBLACKS won last week, barely over Montreal, turning the ball over 5 times. They have an explosive offense. They're up against a very good defense tonight.
Slippery slope when you start turning the football over against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and you're just gifting them turnovers. It's going to be tough, let alone them taking the football away from the opposition, which they've done on a regular basis this year, more than anybody in the league. I really think that that's been a priority of theirs all week long, is to get as much Gorilla Glue or Super Glue on your hands as possible so you don't turn that football over, because you're not going to win against the Bombers.
Only one of those was Trevor Harris. Only one interception, 5 turnovers. No matter what they do offensively, put up 500 numbers or 500 yards. The receiving core they have, if they do that, that's not a recipe to win.
No.
You don't like the stats are for losers, Milt, but that number right there, you'll never win with that.
Maybe the REDBLACKS need to take a page out of Winnipeg Blue Bombers playbook and feature William Powell. Maybe they'll do that like the Blue Bombers feature Andrew Harris. That may be their formula for success.
That's not their team, though, is it?
First down production, when you start running the football
important
like that, that's what Winnipeg does so well.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned 2 5-3 teams. In the East, that's good enough for first place for Ottawa. Winnipeg trying to move alone in second behind the Calgary Stampeders. Kickoff coming up, Friday Night Football.
I'm the king of my city. Ride through the streets, do you feel me? Lights on, bass loud. Party hard with the wave now.
Colin Tribula of Tyndall, Manitoba. You could win groceries for a year if a kickoff's returned for a touchdown in this game. That's thanks to Safeway Sobeys' $1 million touchdown to win promotion. And if a second kickoff is returned all the way for a TD in this one, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Colin. Off to the Bombers and the REDBLACKS in the Peg with Rod Black and Glenn Suter.
Hello, Canada. Welcome to the Gateway to the Prairies. Smoke in the air tonight, a hot one in Winnipeg. Friday night football, and it is 60s night. Honoring an old number 60. Diversity is Strength campaign is launched, honoring that guy, former lineman Abi Khan, number 60. A lot of number 60s, and Mike O'Shea wearing that Diversity is Strength shirt.
Well, diversity makes our country stronger, Rod, and there are no stronger than our men and women in the military. It's Military Appreciation Night here in Winnipeg. On behalf of all Canadians, we want to thank all the brave men and women in the military for what they do on a daily basis, and our veterans for their service.
That is so cool. We salute you. Thanks for keeping us safe at home. Great night here. 2 5-3 teams. Lots in the air tonight, including a couple of C-155 Hawks. They're going to fly over and get us started here at Investors Group Field.
Lots of the squadrons, multiple squadrons from here in Winnipeg in attendance tonight. Remember, our men and women in the armed forces are not only going overseas to protect our way of life and folks that they don't even know, but here at home, too, with the wildfires. They have been deployed to help in British Columbia, and we thank you again for your service to our country.
That smoke in the air from the wildfires has crept across the prairies, is in the air in Winnipeg tonight. We wish all the people out west the best. Red and black meets blue and gold here tonight. 2 5-3s. Boys are ready to roll. It's Friday night football from Winnipeg. Deontay Spencer chopped down near the 21-yard line, and Trevor Harris coming off a big win last week against the Montreal Alouettes, a last-minute win.
Yeah, and he was chucking it, Rod. I mean, when you take a look at the numbers, 44 for 54 passing for Trevor Harris against the Montreal Alouettes, and that come from behind win.
There are those Hawks. What a flying start here.
That gets you going in that first series.
Got goosebumps. Harris dodges one and has to take off, and Trevor Harris gets close to a first down. 9 yards for Harris. Doesn't run a whole lot and had to run that time because he faced some heat suits.
Well, take a look at Brad Sinopoli, third in the league in receiving yards. Couple of 100-yard games for Sinopoli. Been outstanding. Evan Johnson will play at left guard. John Gott sits this one out. They're going with the University of Saskatchewan. Left guard in his second year.
Dominic Davis comes in short yardage. Now he goes back in the gun. Now he goes back behind center. And a guy who spent 3 years here in Winnipeg as a backup quarterback, Dominic Davis, had this date circled on his calendar. He loved his time in Winnipeg.
Doing a nice job on the short yardage. A defense for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers that is the challenge for Trevor Harris, especially up front with Jackson Jeffcoat. 5 sacks. That's second in the Canadian Football League for Jeffcoat. Adam Bighill's the leader in the middle. Leads the league in defensive plays. And then you take a look at that secondary, and Marcus Sales back there with 2 interceptions.
Team that creates a lot of turnovers. Harris goes over the top. Flutter ball. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage. So a second down coming.
Sorry, Rod. I think Drake Nevis got that one. Just filling the lanes, coming up there with the big paws up and shutting down a passing lane for Trevor Harris. Good push, big left hand.
Bombers load up that box. Here comes Adam Bighill. The blitz there, and the ball delivered on the far side, but short of a first down. And making the catch is big Dominic Grimes. At 7 yards, they will be short by 2.5, almost 3 yards, and they're going to have to kick.
Well, that's a nice tackle by Chris Randall to get the defense off the field early here in this first series. A big tackle in the open field on Grimes. Looked like he was going to break that one and get first down yardage, but he was held short.
Richie Leone, one of the league's best punters. Former BC Lion, former Houston Cougar. Leone now with the REDBLACKS. Kevin Fogg is back near his 20-yard line. Into that haze. Fogg. Antoine Pruneau took a big block downfield. Not much room. Andrew Harris, CFL's leading rusher, ready to go here tonight. Coming off another monster game, another big win. The Bombers have peeled off 3 in a row. The normally blue skies over Winnipeg obscured this week by the smoke, fires from BC covering most of Western Canada. Our thoughts, our prayers are with all of those fighting the fires, living through the fires in British Columbia.
Yeah, just a couple days ago, Rod, I was left from BC. It was the worst I've ever seen it. And boy, special thank you to all those out there fighting those fires. That's tough, tough work.
Matt Nichols, Darvin Adams, was the target. Jonathan Rose was there. That was a one-hopper. Nichols took a shot as he delivered that football, incomplete.
Well, there's been a few people upset with the numbers or lack thereof from Matt Nichols, and I don't quite get it.
For real?
He's
Wait.
Yeah, for real.
Wait a second. What's his record?
Well, it's 4-1 since this year, since coming off the injury list, and this is a team that runs the ball more than any team in the league. So that takes away some of your passing numbers, but I'll take the wins over numbers any day, and so will he.
6 receivers set. Harris far side. Will be short of a first down. Looks like Justin Medlock will come out. You know what? Matt Nichols was talking with us. He wasn't upset about it. He was kind of bewildered. And you know what? The Queen of Soul passed away this week. Matt Nichols needs some, you know what? R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Yeah. Well, he's got the winning record with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and boy, it's very different when he hasn't been starting for the Bombers. 5-3 in his career against Ottawa. And this is start number 58 for Matt Nichols in his CFL career, but playing well enough to win, and that's the most important.
2 games behind the Stamps in the West. They've won 3 in a row. 44-yard boot. Deontay Spencer is brought down. Well, it's a game of Harris's. Andrew for Winnipeg and Trevor for Ottawa, who had a come-from-behind win last week.
Look at those numbers. That's 54 passing attempts, 44 completions. His longest on the night was 27 yards, so he's owning the short to intermediate area of the field against that Montreal secondary, and that was one shy of a record.
Big win last week. Win this week. Helps solidify first in the East. They're 2 games cleared in the East. Harris goes the other way. This is an offense that is high-powered and up-tempo. Take a look at the all-time completions in one game. Henry Burris has the record, set a couple of seasons ago.
Trevor Harris in that game had a couple of drops. Would have made the difference. A couple of deep balls, too, would have put him over 500.
2nd down and 5. Throwing down the slot pattern. And once again, finds Dominic Rhymes, whose Uncle Buster used to play for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We had a chat with Mark Nelson before the game. Runs the defense, helps run the defense. And he really likes Dominic Rhymes.
Says he's young, he's raw, but playmaker. Tough football player, too. Likes to block downfield.
Has been with the REDBLACKS for the last couple of years. Hasn't had a lot of playing time. Deontay Spencer. Jackson Jeffcoat right there. Jeffcoat is having a gigantic season on that line for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Charleston Hughes is running away right now with the sack lead. He's got 9 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but in a tie for second is Jackson Jeffcoat, who's figuring the game out a little bit more every time out, and boy, he's stepping out and playing well.
His dad, of course, a former Cowboy. Harris waits for that rush, feels the pressure. There's a penalty flag down. R.J. Harris, another Harris in the game tonight, made the catch. We'll see what the call is. Our referee tonight is Dave Foxcroft.
Illegal contact, Winnipeg, number 37. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
So they'll take the 10. Get a redo of 2nd down.
Well, because of that loss on 1st down, it's not automatic 1st down. It'll be 2nd down over again, but 2nd and real manageable for Trevor Harris.
2nd and 3. Crowd really into it, as they always are here in the Manitoba Capital. It's loud here tonight. Harris has 2 in motion. Hands it off first time tonight. William Howell. Howell's up the middle, and Adam Bighill, the anchor of that Winnipeg front 7.
Well, we got
linebacker.
Got a lot of talent on the field tonight. I mean, guys that are leading the league in a lot of categories. I just mentioned Jeffcoat in 2nd. Adam Bighill leads the league in defensive tackles. We got 1 and 2 in the rushing department, and Andrew Harrison William Powell.
So what you're saying is this is a good game?
This has the makings of a good one, yeah.
Harris went the other way, rolling to his right, and on the far side, gathering the football was Greg Ellingson. One official is saying yes. The Bombers are saying no.
Kevin Fogg is over there arguing. We'll take a look and see if he had control when he went out of bounds. Boy, Greg Ellingson finally got going last week against Montreal. 100-yard game for him.
Looked good. Had control. Finally ripped out.
Yeah, a couple of steps. I think you got the call right there for sure.
Running the hitch on the far side. Ellingson again. And he barges his way close to a first down after that 15-yard completion the play before. This is an 11-yard pickup for Ellingson, going to him immediately out of the chute here tonight.
Well, illegal contact penalty by Brandon Alexander gave the Red Blacks another shot. A couple of plays later, now in field goal range and looking for more.
First and 10, Ottawa from the Winnipeg 27. Harris gunning again, and on the near sideline, this should score. Is it close to the goal line? They're saying it's down near the 1. It's J.C. Beaulieu.
This will be reviewed, Rod, by the CFL command. Any play close to the goal line is reviewed, whether it's ruled a touchdown or not. This not ruled a touchdown and out at the 1-yard line. But we'll take a look and see if that ball crosses the plane or over the cone. Big Hill was deep there trying to get him out of bounds in time. Not even let it go. 1-yard line.
Dominic Davis will plow. There's no signal yet. There it is. Touchdown. Penalty flag down. J.C. Beaulieu, the former Alouette. Product of Sherbrooke and a 5th-round pick, had the big play there. Almost took it in, and it looks like Davis, the former Blue Bomber, will start scoring here tonight.
This is usually offside defense.
Offside, Winnipeg defensive line. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
This drive, another example of what penalties can do and how they hurt you. Illegal contact penalty by Brandon Alexander gives the Red Blacks a new set of downs. They go down and play 73 yards.
They like the 2-point convert. They'll get the 2-point convert. And it's Ellingson. Now 7 for 10 on 2-point convert attempts this season. Dominic Davis, the former Blue Bomber quarterback, first year with the Red Blacks, usually short yardage, has the touchdown back in the peg, and the Red Blacks strike first. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. The Ottawa Red Blacks start this game the way they ended the last. Scoring a touchdown, Dominic Davis, his second major as a Red Black. A guy who was a backup behind Matt Nichols last year in Winnipeg, played in Winnipeg the last 3 years. Gets her going here tonight. 2-point convert makes it 8-0. Kind of a pooch kick this time. Thomas Miles, one of their key special team players on the return. So Matt Nichols, after a 2-and-out, needs to get his offense going and respond to that Red Black score.
Last week, Trevor Harris was at 82% completion percentage. And he's back on track again here. He's just picked up where he left off against Montreal, starting this game at 8 for 9 for 69 yards. That was a 9-play drive, 73 yards, and he's at 89% so far tonight after a couple drives.
Bombers' second series now. 6.5 to go opening quarter. Very pedestrian start so far for Andrew Harris and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers because the Ottawa REDBLACKS have had the football for the most part.
Well, one change up front. That's Ryan Langford in for Weston Dressler. He's on the 6-game injured. One of the hottest receivers in the league of late has been Nick Dembski for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And Matthias Gosen up front is the guy who's going to make all the calls and try and control any type of Ottawa blitz package coming at their quarterback, Matt Nichols.
Second down and 5, throwing down, quick hitter, and caught by Kembrell Tompkins. Tompkins with a 9-yarder will move the sticks. Former Cincinnati Bearcat first-year Bomber.
A.C. Leonard's 4 sacks on the season for that front 7 in Ottawa. Anthony Chaffee back in the linebacking core. Missed last week due to injury. Rico Murray, 3 interceptions in the back end. That's tied for the CFL lead.
Bombers with some traction now up near the midfield stripe. They'll hand it off to Harris. Gets a couple of blocks from that O-line that loves to run block and pass protect. And a chance for Andrew Harris to join some select company tonight. Began this game 12 yards shy of 7,000. And right now, Andrew Harris, you are Mr. 7K. 7,000 yards so far. A career that has really blossomed the last couple of seasons. Nichols goes through his reads and then doubles down on number 2. Kembrell Tompkins was looking for Harris at first. And Andrew Harris has become a superstar.
Well, it's amazing how many defenders I talk to around the league that talk about Andrew Harris as the best back in the CFL, and that's with all due respect to a lot of good ones that are out there. But he's going to make up a lot of ground in that list here tonight if he stays healthy all night. And boy, he's been on a roll. Few 100-yard games for Andrew Harris. Leads the league in yards, leads the league in touchdowns rushing the football with 6 so far, and big runs. Over 20 yards.
3rd and 1 for Chris Stredler. South Dakota product who started the season as a surprising starter when Matt Nichols was injured and had some flashes. They love the future in number 17. He's their short yardage guy right now. Nichols, the 31-year-old out of Redding, California, star at Eastern Washington. Nick Dembski beside him. Hands it off there, dishing it out to Dembski. That straight arm. Nick Dembski, who told us yesterday that Andrew Harris has been like a big brother to him. He's learned a lot from number 33.
Boy, versatility for number 10. Dembski can do it all and has been over the last few weeks for the Bombers. Last 2 games, over 3 touchdowns for Nick Dembski. Get in behind you if he's playing receiver. He's got the speed to do that, but the physicality to block if he needs to protect in the passing game for Matt Nichols.
What a 2-headed monster they have in Harris and Dembski, the 2 Winnipeggers. Now bombing. Nichols has his man. Touchdown, Darvin Adams. Darvin Adams and company. Little pose down.
Just chilling in the end zone.
Just chilling. Nichols' longest plays from scrimmage. Going deep here and finding Darvin.
Nichols has to lift the ball here to get it up over Jonathan Rose because Rose was timing his jump in a trail position. Trying to play the football, not the man first, but play the football first. And you can do that. If you get away with it, it's a pick. If you don't, it's a touchdown. It's one or the other. And Bombers get their first major of the night. Darvin Adams.
Winnipeg team that does not go after the 2-point convert very often. In fact, just 1 attempt this year because they have the sure foot, the left foot of Justin Medlock, who has now made 30 of 30 from the 32-yard line. Darvin Adams used to catch passes from Cam Newton in Auburn. He's catching passes from Matt Nichols in Canada. And the Bombers are on the board. Darvin Adams in that scrum down on the bench, his 4th touchdown of the season on a strike from Nichols.
Jonathan Rose here, Rod's going to try and cut underneath. You see at the end of this play, right at the top of the route, he makes the decision to go ahead and try and play that football, and as soon as he misses it like that, then you know it's trouble. Darvin Adams reels it in, but it was Matt Nichols putting more air under that to lift the football and get it over coverage.
Nichols went deep quite a bit last week with no success against the Hamilton Tiger Cats and their very stingy secondary, and maybe that garnered a little bit of the frustration from the Bomber Nation this week, but not so much there. Nichols goes gunning, and the Bombers are down 1 early here. Good start here tonight in Winnipeg. The team. Deontay Spencer looking for a couple blocks, going backwards, now forwards. And it was like a circus ride there for a moment. Chandler Fenner makes the tackle. Let's go down to the sideline. Here's Sarah Orlesky. Sarah?
Thank you so much, Rod. With this Diversity is Strength campaign that the CFL is doing right now, that there are representatives from every team for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It is Abby Khan who joins me right now with his son, Sufi. Abby's from Ottawa, but played most of his career here in Winnipeg. And Abby, for you to be able to see your name on the back of these T-shirts right now being honored, what's that like for you?
It's amazing. I never thought this was possible. It's just seeing all these guys with my name and number on the back. It almost made me cry last night when I saw the video. That's how emotional I got having fond memories of football.
Well, and I know that you had tweeted just how proud your dad would be of this moment right now. Came from Pakistan in the late 70s along with your mom and a couple of siblings. And so for you, when you think of this campaign, what is it that stands out to you? Why is it important?
I mean, it's a dream come true. It really is for my dad, right? He came here in '78 with barely any money, barely able to speak English, and he made a life for himself and his family. And here we are 40 years later. I'm standing on the Canadian Football League, and there's hundreds of people wearing his name on the back of his jersey. If that isn't diversity and strength and inclusion and what Canada is, then I don't know what is. And my son gets to experience that. It's amazing. It's a dream come true.
Well, Ollie has a number of successful businesses here in Winnipeg, and I know that you want to get back up to the shore, Macon, to check on it. We'll let you go. Thanks for joining.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Rod?
Here's a great one, Avi Khan. And as you just saw, Trevor Harris goes scampering out, loses the football. Rick Campbell's going to his guys upstairs to see if Harris was down before he lost the football. Looks like that knee, oh, that was close. That's really close. Might have been out just before that knee was down, which means the Winnipeg Blue Bombers take over. So every turnover, it's ruled a turnover on the field, is also reviewed.
This was an issue, even though they won last week for Ottawa. Rick Campbell's guys turning the ball over. Now, they overcame those turnovers and those fumbles last week. I believe they lost 5 turnovers last week, including 1 interception from Harris, despite the big numbers he put on the board. And that's going to stand. First turnover of this game, and the Bombers, great field position.
+9 on turnovers this season, second in the CFL. Outside, penalty flag down. This Winnipeg Blue Bomber team starting to gather some steam. Again, a team that scores more points off turnovers than any other.
Winnipeg, number 82. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
So it negates that play by Ryan Langford, who comes in for Weston Dressler this week. So takes it back to the Ottawa 49.
Trying to find the Olatarski penalty that took that big gain off the board. Tough to see it. It looked like at the point of attack, Nick Dembski was clean on his block. Keep looking for it to see if we can find it for you.
First and 20. Nichols moves the pocket. Now goes down the sideline. Andrew Harris incomplete.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
Pocket was moving, Matt Nichols was moving, and Harris was blanketed downfield. So now it's 2nd down and 20, just over a minute to go in this first quarter. And a challenge flag. Mike O'Shea has thrown a challenge. He has been unsuccessful on 2 challenges this season.
Winnipeg is challenging that there was defensive pass interference committed on their number 33. We'll review the play.
They were jockeying down that far sideline. Shea throws that challenge flag early in this ball game.
Well, clearly, Andrew Harris is. Let's take a look at the coverage and see if there was. They got the matchup, the Bombers did, that they wanted. Danny Mason, the defensive end, trying to cover Harris on that wheel route.
So command has it right now, looking at this. Still would have been 2nd down.
Another look at it. Maybe we'll see from the reverse camera. Looked like Andrew Harris got up saying that Mason grabbed his jersey, and inside it looked like he may have clutched it and then released it. The question is, was he holding it long enough?
So again, Mike O'Shea has not won a challenge this season.
It looked pretty good to me, to be honest with you. On that second look, you're allowed a little bit of hand fighting, and
after review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass. 2nd down.
So now no challenges left.
You know, and Michael O'Shea's view of that play, because it was the opposite sideline, was blocked. So he was trusting Andrew Harris more than anything, and then threw the challenge flag. Now the downside for him is it's gone now. He can't use, he doesn't have any more.
Still has a 2nd and 20. Need to get down near the Ottawa 30-yard line. So he's going to send out everybody here. Nichols now. Again, he has to scramble, and he has to throw this out of bounds. As the Red Blacks were coming, Jonathan Newsom was harassing Matt Nichols. Newsom back in the lineup for the 2nd straight week.
Well, that's a sudden change win for the Ottawa defense, because when you turn the ball over, Trevor Harris, remember, we go back a few plays, lots have happened since then, but we go back a couple plays. Trevor Harris turns the ball over on the fumble. Langford has a big play that comes back due to penalty. No challenge, that didn't work, and now the Bombers have to punt. So sudden change win for the Ottawa defense.
And a rare occasion where a Winnipeg turnover does not secure them any points. Again, number 1 in the Canadian Football League, points on turnovers. Medlock so adept kicking to that corner. This one's going to bounce backwards. No yards, call likely, a 5-yard penalty. They may take the yardage here. Up near the 26-yard line. Only a few ticks left in this opening frame.
Now take a look at one of the hottest receivers in the league in Brad Sinopoli. Forget about passports. Just take a look at his numbers. Take a look at the fastest to 60 catches in league history. Mookie Mitchell, Alan Pitts, and now Brad Sinopoli. 8 games, he's at 60, 724 yards in reception yardage, and we're talking 3rd in the league. Not 3rd Canadian, 3rd in the league.
Yeah, no catches tonight. I don't think that's going to go very much longer. Powell. And there's a flag down. far side of the field. Chance for one more play, barring penalty. Sinopoli has had a sensational season. This is an Ottawa offense that spreads the wealth. They use everybody, and they've used Sinopoli more than anybody. He's had some nights where he's had a dozen catches.
Illegal formation, no end, Ottawa. That penalty's declined. Second down.
Change some personnel in here. Again, Trevor Harris coming off a near 500-yard performance last week. And there's going to be a delay here. We have an official down on the far side.
Didn't see contact. Well, he did get hit. He's just describing it now. And our head official, Dave Foxcroft, and they will have an alternate official ready to put on the field. Trying to catch the number here.
That's Pierre Laporte, the back judge. Tough hombres, our officials in the Canadian Football League.
And you know what, Rod? They're having a good year. I mean, I think this year, and I do radio all week long, every single week.
This was on a substitution. Oh.
Yeah, I do it all week long, every week, and we haven't at all on talk radio been talking about the officiating in the CFL this year. I mean, there was one or two, but they've done an excellent job this year, and looks like he'll be okay and back.
Of all things, a substitution. Pierre's okay. Might not let that one down. Three-man rush. Harris goes over the top on the far side for Deontay Spencer. Clock hits zeros in our first quarter. 15 minutes gone. A lot of offense. Turnover already, and a one-point game here on Friday Night Football on TSN live from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Both teams have scored a touchdown. The difference is the two-point convert so far. One-point game visiting Ottawa the night of the Harrises. Andrew Harris gets to 7K and expect more from him. And Trevor Harris already operating at a high efficiency with precision, Glenn Suter.
Yeah, both these quarterbacks, you take a look at Matt Nichols hitting that deep ball to Darvin Adams. And that's something that the fans here in Winnipeg were looking for. And he delivered early in that first quarter. And, Andrew Harris he's got his touches. And then you take a look at Trevor Harris's numbers. When you combine the two quarterbacks, they're at 75% completion percentage. So, yeah, the stars are shining here tonight in Winnipeg.
Let's put something together now.
Friday night lights are on here at Investors Group Field, south of downtown Winnipeg on the University of Manitoba campus. Trevor Harris, 32-year-old of Edinburgh U in Pennsylvania. Turns and read option, play action is an incomplete pass. First time targeting Brad Sinopoli here tonight, the Peterborough native.
That play only works if the defense is pulled to the fake to William Powell. Kind of a zone read play or a ride inside play. And if they don't bite on that fake, the quarterback's in trouble.
So a passing down here on second down and 10. Powell stays in the block. Near sideline, and there's the first catch, and Brad Sinopoli also takes a lick from Marcus Sayles. His first catch of the night, his 61st of the season for 11 yards.
As we approach the midway point, the Ottawa REDBLACKS have played 8 games, so they're 5-3 on the year. And we can start projecting numbers if a player stays healthy. And the projection for Brad Sinopoli is 135 catches this year.
The second best ever to Mookie Mitchell. 160. That's crazy. Harris, loads of time. Down the rail, was looking for R.J. Harris. Had a step. Second down conversion, ranking them 4th in the Canadian Football League so far, but 5 of 7 so far tonight. Where will Harris go this time? Deep drop. And fires, and that back shoulder looking to his release valve, who's done that so many times since this year. Brad Sinopoli has been Mr. Second Down.
Well, 17 money catches. I call them the money catches because these are second down catches that move the chains if you make them. And, you know, he's got that Andy Fantus talent, skill in time and space. That's, I think, what makes him great. Brad Sinopoli has that talent where he knows exactly where to be and the time and timing he needs to get there.
4 receivers and then the underhand pitch ahead. And that was, they call that the shovel. That was more like a scoop for 8. Isn't that like what you see in fastball?
Yeah, I don't think that was a design shovel. At least it was either a design shovel and Harris had to throw it around the rush. Yeah, it was a design shovel pass. Kind of had to throw it around the rush to get it there, but he does. And the second and short.
Second and short. Harris stays in. No Dominic Davis this time. Got Winnipeg to bite, but were they drawn? Craig Rowe looked like he had jumped, but he was pointing at that Ottawa front line. Or BC Lion.
Mark Cordy was the tight end, and he was in the front of that bunch. Made contact with Craig Rowe. And who moved first?
Officials giving this a long talk over.
Offside, Winnipeg, number 93. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So, chains move. First and 10 from the Winnipeg 25-yard line.
Craig Rowe will rotate with Jeff Coat and Opala Ugo for the Bombers at that defensive end spot.
Another long clock-eating drive. 8th play of the drive so far. Quads to the left. They go to the right, setting up a screen for Powell, who slices and dices down inside the 10-yard line. Taylor Loeffler saves a touchdown. William Powell.
Well, we mentioned some of the stars at the break. We didn't mention Powell, so he said, well, let me show you something that maybe will get me on the next break, because this is pretty. I mean, this is special running abilities out in the open field. Watch this cutback. Looked like his legs were cut out there. Keeps his balance, gets his weight back underneath those legs, and then away it goes for another 7 or 8 yards before he's dragged down by Taylor Loeffler.
18-yard play. Down to the 7. First and goal. Powell looking for the end zone, and will he get there? So it will be second and goal, just down outside the goal line. And I'm sure William Powell has a little chip on that shoulder pad tonight. All the talk about Andrew Harris and Powell, who is second in the league in rushing. This is an Ottawa team that doesn't run the football a whole lot either. When they do, though, 29 gets it.
Yeah, they do in bunches. They do in bunches, because when you look at carries, William Powell and Andrew Harris are very similar.
So can he do it again? Looks like it's a touchdown. And the guy who used to wear blue and gold has now scored twice for his new team this year. Dominic Davis having a happy homecoming in Winnipeg so far. Pair of short yardage touchdowns. He gets the score, but the Red Blacks offense have had a huge couple of assists.
Yeah, they have, and a couple big drives. And when you take a look at how different the drives were, I mean, Trevor Harris in the first quarter going to the passing game to move the football, and then that drive went to William Powell.
So again, going for 2, as they are prone to do. They'll hand it off. No, they won't. Penalty flag is down deep in the end zone and trying to hang on. Greg Ellingson was knocked out of bounds. You have to have a foot down at least, but
well, he caught that.
He did catch it, but let's take a look at what this penalty's about. Flag was thrown before the play began.
Offside, Winnipeg. Half the distance to goal.
Wow.
We'll redo the convert.
Another shot from that much closer. It's been 3 penalties that have hurt the Bombers in this one. You think to the Brandon Alexander illegal contact in the first quarter early turned into 8 points. There was a illegal block downfield by Wolotarski that took a big game by Langford off the board and stopped that drive, and now this.
Well, they hand it off to Powell for the 2-pointer. No, they'll throw, and they'll get the 2-point convert. Deontay Spencer. 2-point attempts have been money for the Red Blacks this year.
Taylor Loeffler was not happy after that. I'm not sure if there was a bus back there, but they'll sort it out.
8 of 11 on 2-pointers now. And a 16-7 lead. Double D back in Winnipeg. Dominic Davis has scored twice on Friday Night Football. 10 plays, 78 yards to pay dirt for the Ottawa Redblacks. Let's go down to the sideline once again. Rejoin Sarah Orlesky.
Rod, as you mentioned, tonight is Military Appreciation Night here in Winnipeg, and I'm joined by Warrant Officer Kelly Verge. Kelly is a die-hard Winnipeg Blue Bombers fan who came to the city in the late 70s with her family. What is it about the CFL that you love so much?
Oh, it is such a fast-paced game. It is wide open. It is so much fun to watch, and I've been a fan since we moved here in '79. My parents had season tickets in the 80s, and I've had my own since the mid-90s, and it's one big family.
Well, and what impresses me is that you've had them since the mid-90s, but you have been posted in Edmonton since 2015. Why'd you keep your season tickets here?
I'm going to retire here in Winnipeg, and I want my seats, so yeah.
And how big of a fan is she, Rod? When she came back from being deployed in Kandahar after 6 months, the very next day the Bombers were playing back at Old Canada Stadium, their playoff game in 2011. So she went from the desert to the frigid, freezing cold of Winnipeg temperatures because she was not going to miss that playoff game.
Well, she is a great
outstanding
member of our Canadian military and a great football fan.
And I've got to say, you know, when we talk military, I've got to say a little hello to my group up in Cold Lake, Alberta, the 417 Rescue Squadron, which I'm sure have been busy with these wildfires in BC because they're always helping when this kind of stuff comes up, like Fort Mac and now BC this summer. And, you know, it's amazing when you sit and talk to the men and women in the military and you tell your story about you and I doing a game and then having a beverage after the game, and we tell our story, think it's kind of cool and funny, and they tell their stories and your jaw drops.
Yeah.
Because it's real stuff, whether it's home or abroad, and they walk out the door knowing what's at stake and protect our way of life. So again, thank you to the men and women in the military.
Unselfish and fearless. Proud Canadians, proud of them. Drew Wolotarski right near the first down marker. Likely he's going to move the chain gang here. Wolotarski, who gets national status, Canadian status. His mom was born in Montreal, and so another NCAA player who has made his way north of the border, played with Minnesota. Matter of fact, played with Chris Grevler at one time, the Golden Gophers.
Hasn't been targeted as much of late.
Nichols swinging it out, dropping it into the mitts of Andrew Harris. An offense that Nick Dembski has talked about, and Andrew Harris talked about it with us last week. That has so many different dimensions to it. Paul Lapalisse, the offensive coordinator, it's almost like every play is a snowflake. There's no two plays are alike in this offense. You don't know what's coming.
Well, you have to defend the entire field. That's what makes it so difficult, because first of all, Matt Nichols can make the throws across the field and deep, as we've seen in the first quarter. But then you throw in the running game by both Harris and Dembski.
Nichols now flushed out, rushes out, and is going to get the first down. Had to about 50 yards to pick up the 8th, but he got it.
Well, he knew where the target was. He had to get there, but he saw the target. Matt Nichols does not run the football that much coming into this game. After five starts for number 15, he had just 2 carries for a yard. That was a 12-yarder and a key first down.
Nichols has certainly come into his own since last season. It's become his team. Harris has the underbelly for a couple of yards. Chatting with Matt yesterday, he's not only a student of the game, but he has become literally a student once more. Here's a guy who already has a degree. Now he wants to go after his master's.
Getting his master's online at Gonzaga through a program there that only accepts around 16, 17 people every year. He's one of them, and so he's working on his master's while perfecting the playbook at the same time.
In sports management and administration, hopes to be a GM or an athletic director someday down the road, but right now he's a star quarterback here in Winnipeg. He's on the run. Harris out of the backfield, and once again Noel Thorpe's defense shrouds him and quickly envelops Andrew Harris. Loses his lid. He's okay. And the kick team will come out again.
No Weston Dressler in this game. He's injured and out on the 6-game injured list. And, you know, Ryan Langford is going to replace him tonight. And he's a great player, but a different player. I think in a play like this with Matt Nichols out on the edge and trying to find an open guy, they may miss Weston Dressler in those situations a little bit. Possibly Nick Dembski could take over that role, finding that open spot for a key first down.
Helmet popping, mouth guard popping, hit that time. Take it to the far side. R.J. Harris, they had 2 returners on that, and Trevor Harris brings his offense back on the field. 9-yard lead, and Brad Sinopoli having a career year for Twin Eights and the Red Blacks. Week 10 continues to roll tomorrow in the CFL. BC Lions against the Argonauts at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, available in 4K. Cloud Bethel Thompson, what a win he had. After that is the Eskimos and the Montreal Alouettes at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. And again, waiting to hear more about the fire situation surrounding that game. Air quality. Harris jumping up and throwing a strike downfield up near the 30-yard line. There was a flag. Might have been some contact or interference on Greg Ellingson. This play likely is going to stand on a 21-yard pickup for 82.
The gain likely greater than the penalty yardage because it looked like it was illegal contact early in the route.
Illegal contact, Winnipeg, number 8. That penalty's declined. First down, Ottawa.
Greg Ellingson, 4 catches already, 50 yards. Most targeted receiver. Chris Randall out on that island again. 6.5 to go before halftime. William Powell can't escape the grasp of Jackson Jeffcoat. Set up a throwing down for the Red Blacks, who do not waste any time with huddles.
No, they're going tempo.
Welcome to our viewers on TSN1. 16-7 Ottawa Red Blacks lead. Second quarter in Winnipeg tonight. 2-5 and 3 teams going at it. Full tilt here. Harris, nice tight spiral to R.J. Harris into Winnipeg territory. R.J. Harris, former product of New Hampshire, with a 25-yard gain.
Going to run this out, the third receiver right on the Nissan logo, and he gets the matchup that they're looking for. That's one thing that Ottawa is doing very well offensively tonight. Trevor Harris is finding key matchups. That time on Javon Santos-Knox, a little one-on-one.
Again, high percentage so far. Another play action. Kind of lobbing that up this time for Spencer. Does some dancing and almost had that stripped, but he hangs on. And again, looks like it's another Ottawa first down, and they are driving the football.
Well, 9-play drive in the first quarter, 73 yards. That went 4 minutes. They got a 10-play drive in this quarter for 78 yards. That's over 4 minutes. Trevor Harris got another drive going here. Great balance. Little William Powell, they sprinkle in. Protection is there up front.
Harris splits out his receivers. There's Ellingson on the near sideline. Runs the hitch screen, and much like Winnipeg's offense, one thing that Trevor Harris does is that he uses all of his weapons. They've used Ellingson a lot tonight, but again, a lot of mishmash when it comes to play calling.
Well, great offensive coordinators here tonight, kind of dueling. I know they don't play against each other, but Jamie,
they kind of are.
Elizondo,
it's like a video game to them.
And Paul LaPolice that have very imaginative and tough offenses to defend. I mean, they have so many different weapons, first of all, but different looks as well.
Wing formation, jumbo set here for the jet sweep on the inside handoff. And they like to use that speed of the Inferno. Deontay Spencer, but not much success that time.
Santos-Knox makes the play here. He gets up the field, and because he's getting up the field as quickly as he is, that pushes everything wide. Santos-Knox right here. Watch him push it up the field, and he gives his teammate Mo Leggett a chance to get there on the outside. So Ottawa can't turn the corner. Deontay Spencer can't get the corner and get the first down.
And so that brings out one of the great stories. One of the smallest guys in the league is on a streak of 22 in a row. This is from the 41 for Lewis Ward. The former Ottawa GG has now made 23 straight. That's a record for a first-year player. For a guy who's 5 feet nothing.
I run right to him. He on the ground smiling just like that.
Well, we're trying to protect ourselves.
I understand. We're trying to protect all players too. And I'm about to go this way, and you ran right into me. I'm like, damn, bro, my fault, bro.
Mic'd up. Each week, CFL Wired gets you closer to the action. Tuesday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, across the TSN network. Bombers, after that successful Lewis Ward field goal, down 19-7 now. Darvin Adams as the Bombers' lone major. Ottawa's really had control of the football. Some big drives here. That one ended in a field goal, and Lewis Ward's become a great story in his first season for Rick Campbell and the Red Blacks, a guy who wasn't even expected to make the team at the beginning of the season. Here he is, setting records. Red Blacks loading it up, showing blitz. Here it comes. Nichols unloads down the middle. Could not find Ryan Langford. Sprinting and overthrow. 3-minute warning before halftime. Ottawa up 12 in Winnipeg.
Three minutes to halftime coming up. Guys are going to talk about the Harrises, like the job Ottawa's defense is doing against Andrew and the job Trevor is doing for that Red Blacks offense with all those receivers like Brad Sinopoli. I should mention RJ too, because after all, he's a Harris. Let's go back to Rod and Glenn.
All right, thank you, Rod. Back here at Investors Group Field. Winnipeg crowd that was loud early has been kind of silenced the last little while. Justin Medlock boots it back to the Red Blacks. And back to Deontay Spencer. A couple of huge cuts, and then he is dropped. Well, Kyle Walters is the general manager of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That's his boy, Lawson. Happy birthday, Lawson. 11 years old today. And we want to wish another happy birthday to, well, not a birthday, but congratulations, a successful surgery coming back. It's Philippe Hughes, the 11-year-old in Ottawa. We saw him in the pregame show. Become a big Red Blacks fan, maybe the biggest. He's had some health scares. We understand he's back, doing well from surgery. We want to send out our best to Philippe. Become a big fan. Greg Ellingson, Antoine Pruneau.
Yeah, one of his favorite players, Greg Ellingson, and Sinopoli out there as well, and Antoine Pruneau went and visited with him. So great feature. You can see it on tsn.ca, and if you haven't seen it already in the pregame show, outstanding. And get well soon.
Get well soon. What a great young man. Great football fan. Billy Hughes. Looking for a slant pattern. And there's a late flag. That one came out really late on Dominic Grimes as Chris Randall was all over him.
You know, Chris Randall was breaking on the ball, and I think their feet got tangled. This may be accidental pass interference.
Accidental defensive pass interference. Winnipeg, number 8. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Mike O'Shea is chasing that official down the sideline.
Watch the dig route here. Contact there, that's fine. He's just cutting underneath, and he trips him up.
Speak with David Gazza, the side judge. Tight coverage far side, but dropping it in again. Ellingson's been the busiest guy here tonight. And it's another Ottawa first down, so the 2-minute offense now for Trevor Harris, trying to put more points on the board before the half.
Goes without saying, this is very important. 20 to 25 yards here for the Bomber defense. They got to step up here and get a stop.
Harris again settling in that pocket. That was almost picked off as Craig Rowe, the rush end, retreated and almost had himself a pick.
Take a look. He looks like he's going to come off the edge there and drops underneath coverage. Does it all well except the final stage, and that's to catch the football.
Big down here for the Winnipeg defense, trying to hold the Red Blacks. And they won't. Look at this catch again, and it's Ellingson. As Harris took a jolt as he threw that, and Greg Ellingson already has 7 catches, and we're not even at halftime.
And same thing, watch Ellingson out here. He's going to run the dig route, but Craig Rowe is going to step up and then drop underneath. Now, when you're asking a defensive lineman right here to drop that deep, now see, he gets pulled up on that shorter route, and in behind him is Greg Ellingson. That's picking on the defensive end, trying to play like a linebacker.
26 yards, almost 100 already for Ellingson. There's another completed pass to Spencer on that far side. It'll be another second down and about 4 yards to go for the Red Blacks.
Now, I'm not saying that those are bad defensive calls. Richie Hall, the defensive coordinator for Winnipeg, has done a nice job with his defense. Boy, have they improved over the last 3-4 weeks. Lead the league in sacks, lead the league in interceptions. But if you go too much to the well on those change-ups where your defensive end is dropping, you can get in trouble.
Lots of time here for the Red Blacks. Looking for the first down. Sling it over the top for Ellingson, who wants a flag, and there are none on the field. Harris was dumped again. It looks like this is going to be another field goal attempt for Lewis Ward.
But another good time-consuming drive. I mean, it's going to be another one of those sort of double move-in routes from Greg Ellingson. Does him so well. Bombers get the stop and don't give up the major.
So again, just 5'7", maybe, Lewis Ward. 25-year-old former Ottawa GG. Already near 97% in his rookie season. Suits, how about 24 field goals in a row?
And counting.
And counting. Smallest guy on the field has been near perfect this season. Not bad for a guy who was a security guard last year at TD Place, working security because he was at the University of Ottawa, as some of his teammates do, and now is the field goal kicker, starting for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Dembskis has a 6-yard reception.
Time to grab some momentum here if you can, if you're Winnipeg. And then that's why they're in tempo and not wasting any time of this 1:28 left in the half.
Has to get a first down. Nichols now in trouble. And down he goes. That Ottawa team, Michael Clausen. And right now the Bluebirds are out here in Winnipeg. Restless Winnipeg crowd. Clausen, the former Calgary Dino. And that was recorded as Osaka was behind the line of scrimmage. So another 2 and out here for a very flat Winnipeg offense so far. Got 7 in the first quarter, but not much else. Andrew Harris has been held to under 50 yards. Dembski a couple of catches. Ottawa's offense has been on the field a lot. Chandler Fenner's trying to run down Deontay Spencer. Good luck. Here goes Spencer. Cutting back now. A nice return. And Ottawa poised again to start now with 45 to go before halftime in Winnipeg's zone.
Well, Deontay Spencer already has a touchdown on a punt return this season. A nice big fat 10.4-yard average on returns, and this just gave Trevor Harris a chance for, at the very least, a field goal to add some more points to this lead. That was a 35-yard return by Deontay Spencer.
Well, a Winnipeg team that came in pretty happy with themselves the last couple of weeks. Harris now is sacked. Down he goes. And it's Drake. Puts him on the carpet. Six-yard loss.
Just muscles his way back there. Harris has had a couple of lanes to step up and throw in. Not that time.
Bomber D again. Rushing forward. Harris with time. And off that back foot finds Dominic Grimes. They're saying it is, well, there's officials they're calling it incomplete. Dave Foxcroft is overruling those side judges, and that is an incomplete pass. So Grimes, like he was out of bounds.
We'll take a look when he makes the catch and stop it there. Foot on the white stripe.
He told me iceberg.
There's the one referee who signaled right away. So Winnipeg will get the ball back, but not much time at all. It could be up to this guy who is dangerous and electric. A couple years ago, Kevin Fogg returned a ball 4 times for touchdowns. They all were taken back because of penalties. Has a touchdown on a missed field goal this year. Leone with the big foot. Huge kick down near the 5 for Fogg. There's a penalty. Chandler Fenner on an illegal block. That gave Fogg some running room. So Nichols has 11 seconds. What do you do here?
Well, you go back in at halftime and you regroup. You don't do anything here. You know, you don't want to push it, interception or anything
illegal
like that.
Block, Winnipeg, number 22. After this is to goal. First down, Winnipeg.
And I think what they'll do offensively is go back to why they've been a 5-3 team and second in the West Division, and that's with the balance in the run game and Andrew Harris, and then go into play action off that run game and get Matt Nichols going in that play action game. And that's, you know, one of the reasons this offense is up there in passing yards, over 300 per game.
Nichols is in the gun with 11 to go. Spread it out and hand it off and be very conservative here.
Yeah,
Harris.
Excuse me, Rod, but just over 200 yards per game, but with their balance in the run game, 152 yards rushing, that leads the league. And I know Ottawa, and I heard the panel is going to talk at halftime about this Ottawa defense and how they've taken Andrew Harris a little bit out of the game plan for Winnipeg. But if you're Paul LaPolice, I think you go right back to 33. Don't let them talk you out of it this early in the game, just because they had a good first quarter against him.
Only 18 yards rushing for Andrew Harris, 1 yard in the air, 19 yards. Those aren't Andrew Harris-like numbers, and you can credit Ottawa's defense so far, but the Ottawa offense has been on the field a whole lot. Harris now continues to add to his total, so that will help out, but the Bombers need to regroup here. A team that swept the Red Blacks last season, right now being humbled 22-7 on Friday Night Football. Second quarter, here's Sarah Orleski with a touchdown scorer for Winnipeg, Darvin Adams.
Darvin, this Bombers offense didn't have a lot going in those opening 2 quarters. What's the first step to changing that here in the third?
Really, I just think we got to just continue to be us and just take what the defense gives us, and I think everything will be okay.
This is only the second time this season that you guys have trailed at the half. How would you describe the mood in that dressing room?
I think we all good. We've been in this position before as a core group, and our coaches and our players, we know what it takes, and I think we just got to keep our head down and grind.
Thanks so much, Darvin.
Thank you.
Keep with the grind, and that means both sides of the ball. Defense needs to try and stop some of these Trevor Harris long drives. Mike O'Shea's defense has that challenge in front of them, and I think they're going to go back to Andrew Harris, but it was another great half for Trevor Harris, the Ottawa REDBLACKS. He had 44 completions last week, over 20 in that first half. On pace for another game with over 40 completions.
Normal night at the office these days. There is speed to burn. Ryan Langford is back to return this kick from Richie Leone. Langford looking for the wedge here. Kicks it outside. He can fly. Juan Pernod, though, chases him down and brings him down near the 25-yard line.
Now with Matt Nichols, if he can get Andrew Harris going again, a good first half doesn't mean you can control 33 all game. Guys averaging, rushing the football over 6 yards.
Here we go.
Football is a game of adjustments. We'll see what Winnipeg has for this Ottawa defensive scheme.
Stays into block this time for Nichols on the roll. And Wolotarski has his second catch of the night, and it's a first down, Winnipeg. They come out of the gate firing.
A lot of misdirection motion before the snap. You're going to see Andrew Harris come out of the backfield here. You got Nick Dembski going the opposite direction, freezes the defense for a second. Wolotarski out there on the sideline.
Who grew up in California. Here's Andrew Harris, and again wrapped up and ripped right down. And they have had a bullseye on Andrew Harris tonight, and he just has not been able to get on track.
I found it interesting last week that Noel Thorpe's group, when they played against Montreal after the game, of course, you know the big hit that Johnny Manziel took in that game, and they're still talking about that. Probably won't play tomorrow. But Noel Thorpe's group after that game were complimented by Manziel when he said that they're fast, they hit hard, this is a quick defense.
Well, the Bombers can attest to that tonight. Here comes the blitz, and over the top, snagging it, but short of a first down is Dembski. The former Bison, and finally something to cheer about. But again, it looks like it's going to be Justin Medlock time. The drive will stall here.
Came back hard to that ball, and because it was in that danger area right over the middle, Dembski had no choice but to retreat a little bit to make sure he separates from the defenders, and that meant he was short by 3 yards.
Very mediocre night so far for the Winnipeg offense. Came out blazing deep strike touchdown. Nothing since. End over end. A good kick again by Medlock. There's a little juice on it. Gets backspin. And Spencer has nowhere to go. Well, Trevor Harris, that final practice toss. And on target a lot last week, on pace this week. Red hot, red black.
Well, you take a look back at the last 6 quarters for Trevor Harris. That goes back to the full game against Montreal. And the first half here, he's at around 241 yards, 242 yards per half.
Wow.
And at 80% completion percentage. Wow, is right.
As always, operated at a high percentage. Liam Powell in a scrum. Adam Bighill wraps him up. Coincidence or not, that wake-up call for Harris came after that loss to the Argos. Big comeback by McLeod Bethel-Thompson.
Well, in that game, they had 428 yards of offense.
So maybe not.
No, but it was balanced offense, and then they lost that game, so they're not taking anything for granted. And again, every series important to Trevor Harris. They learned a lesson there.
It's a long field this time, Suits. Here comes the blitz. Harris delivers on the slant pattern to R.J. Harris. He's been an unsung hero in this offense. Newcomer this year.
Well, and you know, when you're facing a hot quarterback like this, so what does Richie Hall do? He's a defensive coordinator. Went in at halftime, looked at the iPads, looked at what they were trying to attack, and by that first series, it looks like we're going to see more pressure from the linebacking core. Now, that leaves his receivers in one-on-one, but it should take away some time for Trevor Harris.
Leone's going to launch here. A winless night, one of those rare ones. Investors Group Field. Oh, this is a towering kick. Kevin Fogg bursting outside. 57-yard kick. Has the edge and a pretty good return. 15-yard return up near the 46. Matt Nichols needs to turn the switch on for the Bombers right now. It's a new connection, but they've connected before. Matt Nichols and Nick Dembski need to connect again. Let's go down to Sarah.
Yes, Rod, certainly one of the people that Matt Nichols is going to be looking for is Nick Dembski. And when you talk about Nick Dembski, who's really been in the forefront over the last couple of weeks, you often hear about his football IQ, his willingness to do anything. It's drawn praise from Matt Nichols as well as head coach Mike O'Shea. And when I asked Nichols if there was anything about Dembski that had surprised him since he had joined the team, he said no, which kind of surprised me. But he said that the two had worked out before in the offseason. When Matt would come back into Winnipeg, Dembski is a Winnipegger, played at the University of Manitoba. So even when he was with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they would sometimes get together during the offseason. Nichols said that he'd seen the explosive plays. He likes his attitude. And again, the word dynamic, we hear it talked about with this offense. He used it to describe Dembski as well.
Well, he needs a little of that dynamic tendency right now from the Bombers and teammates alike. Very restless crowd here in Winnipeg tonight, mostly because of Noel Thorpe's defense. There's a flag on the play, likely interference.
Well, so far in the game, as Sarah just reported.
Defensive pass interference. Ottawa, number 99. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
AC Leonard, the former receiver turned rush end.
Got Andrew Harris out of the backfield and pushed in the back and down as the intended receiver. That's pass interference. No question there. AC Leonard. Matt Nichols took a hit on that last play. I was going to just finish the thought with Sarah that Dembski targeted 3 times tonight, has 3 catches, but short ones, just 14 yards receiving. So he's had 127 yards in 2 games.
Nichols out of the backfield is Harris, and once again spied perfectly. The ball comes loose. Whistle had blown. No gain on the play.
It'll be 2nd and 10. But his versatility, when you're talking Dembski, and how he complements Andrew Harris when this offense is clicking, and that hasn't happened yet tonight, but you look back at the last 2 games, 7 catches, 127. He can run the ball as a tailback out of the backfield, and that's the big one at the bottom right there. I mean, 3 touchdowns in 2 games. He's finding the end zone.
There is a challenge flag down to the field. Rick Campbell, is he wondering if this was a fumble? Here's Dave Foxcroft again. And again, it's the challenge from the Red Blacks. And this will go to CFL command.
If Campbell wins the challenge here, he would get possession, but not the yards gained. The ball was whistled dead, although recovered immediately by Ottawa.
Ottawa was challenging that the player was down by not down by contact, with immediate recovery by Ottawa.
So command has it. We'll have a verdict on this play. Let's take a quick look. Harris had it, and he has to be down here. Well, they have a point. This could be a successful challenge. Rick Campbell challenging this, and he may have a point. It was right in front of his bench. He didn't even have a chance to look at that replay. And Andrew Harris may indeed could have fumbled this football. Campbell's 2 of 4. Now, did Andrew Harris have the football?
Yeah, did he catch it? I mean, this is the first thing they've got to look at. Did he catch the football, first of all, and have possession long enough to say that was a catch? And that's super slow motion, so you've got to keep that in mind. Now, it looks like the ball's out before he touches, but let's hear what they say.
After review, the ruling is overturned into an incomplete pass. Ottawa will lose their charge timeout.
Rick Campbell heard the overturn word and thought that got overturned. Then we won, and was about to get his offense on the field. Is it, oh wait, overturned to incomplete? Well, that's not what I wanted to base my challenge on.
It's kind of like watching a movie. You know what's going to happen. You don't see a player in the middle of the field also give a shout out to mom, Avery Williams, who made that hit on Harris. Made his mom proud. And 2nd down in Winnipeg. Looking for 10 yards and more, and they get it. Darvin Adams. So
best throw of the night for Matt Nichols. He steps into this one. Timing is there, and leading Darvin Adams to the sideline so he can separate from his defender. That was the best throw of the night for 15.
Simple out route that worked for the Blue Bombers. Adams, who scored Winnipeg's lone touchdown back in the first quarter. Ottawa scored first, got a 2-point convert. Winnipeg matched that touchdown with a 1-pointer. Bombers have never led. Nichols going deep on this. Almost caught. Ryan Langford might have had a catch of the year candidate had he been able to hang on. Nichols throws a laser beam.
Got the post route, blocked up the blitz nicely. Nick Dembski came in, Andrew Harris blocking for him. That gave Matt Nichols time to throw, and up over the top, and Langford just can't hang on. Watch Dembski slide in here and protect from the backside right here. He's got Andrew Harris to the front side of the play, so they're picking up all the blitzers. That allows Nichols to step up nicely in the pocket. Looks like the execution is there. Just have to finish the play. Not quite. Can't maintain possession when impacting the ground, and that's a great call by the official. Incomplete pass.
Langford, who started the first game of the season, hasn't played since. Really the numbers game. Again, with Weston Dressler out, Langford comes in tonight. Played in Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Native of Jacksonville, Florida, spent some time in the National Football League trying to make it with Indianapolis and Miami.
Well, you know, he brings a legit deep threat. You saw him get in behind coverage there. I mean, he's got the speed to break down that deep coverage and run past the zones as well. But just didn't hang on there. That would have been a big one and one the Bombers needed. Let's see if they can convert on 2nd and 10 now and let that one go. Got to flush it and move on to the next play.
Fly guy as well, and had a kick return touchdown last year. Bombers love his speed. Another critical 2nd down for Winnipeg. Trying to keep this drive going. Delayed draw. Harris now romping, and Andrew Harris has one of his best runs of the night. Suddenly, maybe that delayed draw for a moment froze the REDBLACKS.
Great patience by Andrew Harris here. We're going to slow it down for it, and he even watches running with his eyes upfield. Take your time, stutter step back to that opening. The eyes get big. He shoots through that gap and gets into the secondary. 12-yard gain and a new set of downs.
Down near the 31-yard line. Nichols from the gun. Guns it again. Near sideline for Adams. Watched by Jonathan Rose. Set up another 2nd down attempt here for the Bombers. 2nd and about 5. Down 15.
Jonathan Rose giving Darvin Adams a little more room after that early post pattern for a touchdown. Number 1 got in behind Rose.
Sends out all his receivers. Going over the top. And it's Langford with a cutback and a 1st down. His biggest catch. Ryan Langford. His 1st game back.
Boy, does that help him. I mean, he needs this after dropping the deep one for a touchdown to come right back on this short crosser. This is a Weston Dressler looking like play. That's playing that same spot. We see Dressler do that quite often on that short crossing route. But Matt Nichols put some heat on that one. Comes up with a catch.
First red zone appearance. Here goes Harris on the direct snap. Is he in? Touchdown!
Get up there, Jamarcus.
And the Hardrick hop in the end zone.
Where is he?
And Andrew Harris climbs right up the wall. We had the Stairmaster, now we've got the wall climber. And the Blue Bombers have climbed back in.
You got to stick with 33. Ottawa's defense kind of took him out of that first half. But however you're going to get him the football, this was a direct snap. Stay with the number 1 tailback in the CFL coming into this weekend, Andrew Harris, and he gets there over the cone.
What an effort. Watch his right cleat, left cleat there. Was that out of bounds? Did he make the cone? That play is being reviewed. Every scoring play or anything near the goal line is being reviewed. We're awaiting that.
That's all counts. The previous scoring play is under review by the command center.
And to make sure that his foot wasn't out of bounds. But while they're doing that, Jamarcus Hardrick was the leading offensive lineman around the edge. Nebraska product. Got his big frame, 320. Chugging out there to get the lead block for Andrew Harris.
Well, he knows. He smells. You know what he smells? Not only the end zone, he smells the far wall.
He wants the hop.
The Hardrick hop. He's the guy that started all that stuff. Usually you see him bouncing up in the stands in the north end zone.
He's trying to catch his breath right now because he was out in front. Let's take a look one more time. Take a look down at the feet now. Is that back foot?
Yeah, very close. Yeah.
Boy, it's that the ball is being blocked by the official there, Rod.
And the nose of the football has to break the plane.
I'm not sure he did.
So
put it back on the 1-yard line.
Premature celebration in the end zone, perhaps.
Ball ruled a touchdown. That's why they.
The ref was right next to you, looking down. And the other ref asked him if he stepped out, and he said no. So I was watching his feet.
Whether they're in or not.
But they can't.
On the precipice of making this a ball game again.
But they can't guess to where the ball was. So if there's no evidence, and that was the best look, I think.
They called it a touchdown.
They called it a touchdown. So if there's, they can't presume that the ball didn't cross.
a decision from command. Andrew Harris hoping this is touchdown number 9 on the season.
Okay, I'm going. After review, the call on the field stands. Touchdown.
That was a red-black-like drive for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
8 plays, 64 yards, couple nice timing throws from Matt Nichols, and capped off by the direct snap to Andrew Harris. He gets the ball over the cone in time. Lead blocker, Jamarcus Hardwick.
Medlock point after. Again, always going for that 32-yarder. It's been perfect this season. Bombers make it a 1-possession game. And Andrew Harris has got it going now. Slow first half has sparked his team in the second. CFL rushing leader held in check opening 2 quarters. He's come to life in the third. Really, Glenn Suter on that drive was all Andrew Harris.
Well, a couple throws there from Matt Nichols, but I agree. I mean, don't go away from 33. Take a look at how the linebackers for the Red Blacks are influenced when Matt Nichols goes one way and Andrew Harris to the direct snap goes the other. You see how they're frozen right here for a second. Brown and Avery Williams just stuck in their hole for a split second. That gives Andrew Harris a chance to get outside with that lead block from Hardwick. They get there. We got a 1-possession game.
A little deception from the Bombers running that direct snap. And on that drive, 25 yards match. And leaped over his yardage total in that first half on that drive alone. Surpassing that. And so the Red Blacks now have their turn. An 8-point ball game.
Well, he now has 12 touches total, but that drop play on second and long, second and 10 yards, he got 12. Direct snap to get him to the end zone. Andrew Harris now with 10 touches, but 9 rushes for 58 yards.
Sellies this year. Harris, the duck and the chuck, and almost caught. Brad Sinopoli down that far rail.
Harris wants a hit to the head here. When he did duck, he thought he got hit across the head. Sometimes that can be called. I think it's a great decision by the official not to. The only reason being that, from Oplarugo here, just grazes the top of his head. Those used to drive the last couple of years fans nuts when they called them.
And both teams with no challenge flags. Here comes the pressure again. Harris. Kevin Fogg lays out. Penalty flag.
That's going to be accidental.
Contact. Yeah,
that's going to be accidental.
An accidental contact will mean 10 yards and a first down.
Like R.J. Harris trying to run a seam route.
Accidental defensive pass interference. Winnipeg number 3. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, I'm going to take a look. Fogg's down here. The 3 receivers important there, and then there's an inside route from that wideout. So take a look at those 3 principles in this play, and you're going to see one go down right there as Fogg's trying to trail.
From the hitch to Dominic Grimes. Maybe 3 or 4 yards. So Harris and the Red Blacks get a benefit of a penalty, and talked about it earlier, Suits, that pressure now coming, and they're blitzing on almost every passing play, which the Red Blacks like to do.
Well, then they have to take that shot. If they're going to send pressure, they're in one-on-ones. And it'll give Trevor Harris a chance to go down the field for the big play.
Second down and 6. once again. And they take that shot, and they have their man. And Dominic Grimes is down inside the 5-yard line. You called it. The blitz comes, the ball goes, and Grimes almost galloped to his first CFL touchdown. A 59-yard strike.
Yeah, you get that one-on-one, and that's the thing with Trevor Harris. He knows that if they're going to send pressure and the linebackers are going to blitz, then you can't play zone defense when your linebackers aren't part of the process. And he knows he gets the one-on-one, and he went after it.
Trevor Harris now over 300 yards. 5 yards from another touchdown. And he looks to his left. And Dominic Grimes has his first CFL touchdown.
Oh, baby. Big dog in there. Huh? Good shit, baby. Told you, baby. Hey, give me our dance. What we doing?
They went, well, make sure to get that football.
Yeah, Trevor Harris went and got it for Dominic Grimes here, because Grimes does a great job of sticking with the route. He gets bumped a little bit by Fogg as he makes that second adjustment to the football, but he doesn't quit on it and runs that one down.
That was really the Grimes drive. Think about the hitch, then that strike, which was set up kind of by the hitch because of the blitz that was coming, and then Grimes again. And he does it in a city where his uncle used to play with the Blue Bombers. They go for two again on a 68-yard drive. Harris, and successful.
It might be a late hit flag here on the quarterback.
And all 3 two-point efforts tonight. And they add to this total.
I think that throw survived, or just surprised the Bomber defense.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Winnipeg, number 45. Half the distance to goal. Repeat the convert.
So the 11th penalty that was not called completed, so they'll get another shot here.
There's a throw.
They will get it on the ground with William Powell. But 68 yards on that drive from Dominic Grimes, nephew of Buster Grimes, former Minnesota Viking and a Winnipeg Blue Bomber. 30 years ago, had a great cup ring when the Blue Bombers won in 1988. Grimes has his first CFL touchdown. And it was all Dominic Grimes in that drive.
3 catches for Grimes, 68 yards, and a nice touchdown where he had to stick with it. Linebacker blitz. You see the wide receiver out on the outside. There he is. This was the play that got him down on the doorstep, taking a shot down the field against Kevin Fogg. Now, when you're even, you're leaving. And that's what Dominic Grimes does here to Kevin Fogg. You can't be even as a DB. You got to stay in that back pedal, stay in your chair. And then Harris, his quarterback, knows that's the first one in the CFL, so let's go get that ball and put it in your trophy case. There you go.
30-14. Dominic Grimes has been around for the last couple of seasons, but hasn't found the end zone. In fact, hasn't found a whole lot of playing time. Is tonight and is contributing. And his uncle, Buster, played with the Blue Bombers. And by the way, the rapper named Buster Rhymes took his name, Buster, from Buster Rhymes, who played with the Vikings. So now the Blue Bombers themselves trying to bust back.
Trevor Harris with that drive, by the way, over 300 yards passing on the night and counting.
Loads of football left, though. We still have another quarter. Winnipeg team, though, that hasn't been used to trailing after 3 quarters, and when they have the last couple of seasons, not a lot of success. 3-21 over the last 3 years when trailing after 3. Great front runners. 23-4 after 2. They've been good after 3 quarters this season. Second down for Nichols. Fires. Completed to Tompkins. Past the midfield stripe into Ottawa territory.
This is the 3rd target for Kenbrell Tompkins. He's going to run that dig route across the middle. Watch number 2 down the numbers and then right at that 5-5. 17-yard gain and a new set of downs.
Nichols again. Ball is loose. And the REDBLACKS look to scoop. Avery Williams has it. And he's chugging down the sideline. And Williams is going to score here. It's a touchdown. Ottawa. Let's go. Shocking turn here for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. They go after Matt Nichols. The ball is fumbled. Avery Williams scoops and scores.
Well, there was no whistle, and the Bombers really didn't react to this. Not sure if they thought it was incomplete. Was Matt Nichols' arm moving forward? Or did the ball get knocked out of there by Corey Tyndall before his arm was in that throwing motion? Let's take a look at super slow-mo here. Ball's backwards, knocked out. No, that's a fumble.
Yeah, they'll review it, but this should stand Corey Tyndall, the forced fumble.
Ottawa reacted. Winnipeg really didn't. I don't know if they thought that was incomplete.
Avery Williams, who was released by this team, and then called back. Just after Dominic Grimes has his first touchdown, Avery Williams gets his. And a turnover, and again, another 2-point effort. And they have become automatic on 2-point converts.
Hey, Dad. Amber, Adrian, Ant-Man, Zeta. Hey, you know my big dog, Boo Boo, Connie, and Ant-Man. What's good, baby? I love y'all. See y'all Sunday.
I think it's cool that Avery Williams' big dog is named Boo Boo.
Hails out of Baltimore, Maryland. There's number 42 in the middle, and Corey Tyndall coming from your right.
Yeah, he comes from the right of your screen. He's going to knock it out of there, but Avery Williams was on the blitz as well down Main Street, and he goes and scoops it. He's got a convoy help him get there. Andrew Harris just a little bit late, trying to fight through the blockers to get to Williams. 43-yard scoop and score. And now there's a mountain to climb for the Bombers.
It is a big one. 38-14. 4 2-point converts tonight as well. Those points add up. And this stays in bounds. Langford sidestepping back and forth. A little zig, a little zag, and near his 20-yard line.
Stays in bounds and was live. It's live off a kickoff once it passes 10 yards, and Langford, I think he realized it late and was lucky to grab that.
Winnipeg team again, coming off a win last week here against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Mike O'Shea was delighted with the victory last week. They had some work to do, and it's been an uphill struggle for this team tonight. After winning 3 straight games, Bombers have come back down to earth with a thud here. 2 minutes to go, third quarter. 2nd and 5. Bombers no huddle, and they have to. And that is way over the head of Wolotarski. And
going to say, Rod, you mentioned that they haven't come from behind a lot, and when they've been successful and they've won 3 of their last 4 games, they get the lead, and they have the #1 running game in the CFL, and they grind the clock down. Now, if you're really leaning on the #1 running game and you're down 38-14, that's where that kind of comes back and grabs you.
Deontay Spencer, look out here. There's a flag down. Kind of been an illegal block downfield. Shane Gauthier, the leading special team tacklers for this Bomber team.
Now the Bombers are forced defensively to play mistake-free football. They just cannot give an inch now.
And a team that's created so many turnovers may need to create some more here.
Illegal block, Ottawa, number 20, during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down, Ottawa.
I'm not sure if they added a 13th man, then Trevor Harris could be stopped. Over 300 again. With over a quarter to go.
Turning points early in this ball game too. Think about that turnover. Winnipeg recovered. And they couldn't muster anything off of that. Might have been able to give them some momentum early. 2 turnovers all night. On each side. There's Powell. Stonewalled there. Sets up a second down. Bombers looking to get the ball back here before the team's change ends for the final 15.
The other thing about this Ottawa team, Rick Campbell's group, is that you go back to 2 games ago for them, that Toronto come from behind win. They've learned that lesson this year.
What was that, 24 down?
Yeah, 24 points down in the second half and came back to beat them.
Look at that score right now. And I don't think Ottawa has any of that residue still there. And the REDBLACKS with a penalty flag in the backfield.
This is going to be declined. It's going to be holding on Ottawa and declined by Michael O'Shea.
Illegal block, hands to the face, Ottawa, number 56. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
The Blue Bombers look to pull a page out of the Argos book. The REDBLACKS have been there before, and they don't want to cough that up again. .41 to go before the 4th. Bombers have been known for some big comebacks though here at Investors Group Field in seasons past. They need a huge one here tonight. Huge kick. 50-yarder by Leone. No, it's not your imagination, but Labor Day is not too far away, by the way. Isn't that what they say? The real season begins, not that it hasn't already. Labor Day and the Banjo Bowl. And Nichols knocked down. Bad to worse right now for the Blue Bombers. Nightmarish ending to the 3rd quarter. Big drive by the REDBLACKS. And then a scoop and score. And a fumble recovery takes away all the momentum Andrew Harris has brought. Dominic Rhymes. And then Avery Williams have made it a 38-14 game. Well, we told you those numbers for Winnipeg the last 3 years after trailing, and they're not just trailing, they're trailing by 24 points. The Ottawa REDBLACKS, who blew a 24-point lead a couple of weeks ago, had they not against Toronto, they would have run off 4 straight games, 4 straight wins, and would be looking for 5 in a row here tonight. This game has got out of hand for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
It has, and I just am impressed with the play of Trevor Harris. And you go back to that Montreal game, the numbers he's putting on the board. Even the loss to Toronto, they put over 400 yards of offense on the board that night, and then had one that got way on them with that 24-point lead. I'm sure they've learned their lesson from that. But when you start adding up the numbers for Trevor Harris, I mean, over 300 with a quarter to go. Now, the play calling changes for Ottawa in this fourth quarter with a big lead, but...
Now Nichols takes a shot for Adams. Who's there? In stride. Will score. Touchdown, Winnipeg. Just like that. That is the perfect spark for the Bombers to start the fourth quarter. If there is a comeback, that is the spark.
Well, maybe Trevor Harris won't change the play calling in this fourth quarter because Winnipeg is challenging. And I think Darvin Adams wants to not only catch touchdowns, but
he wants to be a cameraman. It's Darvin Adams 3D.
Give us your resume, Darvin. I don't know if we're looking for any cameramen right at this moment, but pretty impressive on that deep road, 72-yarder. Ball thrown absolutely perfectly from Matt Nichols.
Those are 2 bombs to Adams tonight. Medlock again. Don't go anywhere. It's the CFL. No lead is safe.
Darvin Adams with 7 catches. He's at 150, and that's his second touchdown. Boy, he's all by himself up here at the top of your screen. Deep post route. Protection from Dembski and Andrew Harris. Matt Nichols has to let it go and then duck from a hit that's coming right down the middle and can't throw it any better with the pressure. Watch Clausen at the top of the line here get after it. Get a good push right down the middle. Hit on Nichols as he lets it go, but boy, you can't throw it any better. Let's see Darvin Adams. Okay, now how good are you? Do you have that? That's zoom focus. Can you focus that in on? Okay, what are you shooting there, Darvin? What do you got? Let's see what Darvin had when he picked up the camera. Let's see his angle. He's got him. Okay, got his buddies Dembski in there. You got Langford. Some shots.
There's Tom.
Nice ISOs there.
Nate, take the rest of the night off.
Oh, we got some work to do still.
Darvin Adams on camera. Deontay Spencer. But every time the Bombers have been able to inch back into this ball game,
right,
Trevor Harris had said, not so fast.
Well, I was going to say that play calling I talked about, you know, you go to William Powell, you start grinding the ball and killing the clock when you've got a 3-score lead. Well, that just disappeared. Winnipeg's not going away just yet, so I don't think that the play calling changes at all for Trevor Harris now.
Mike O'Shea trying to channel what the Argos did a couple weeks back. Down 24. Will the unthinkable happen again? There's some confusion in the backfield and some motion on the line. Flags down.
Procedure, Ottawa, number 66. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
You know, key is to continue with the momentum. You got the big play offensively. You know that defense now playing, walked out on the field with a little more jump in their step. You make a play and a stop for 2 and out here. That momentum builds.
And remember, a Bomber team that has picked off 11 footballs in the early season. Harris is back to pass. He's going over the top. Chris Randall was fighting with Deontay Spencer and did not let him loose. Harris gets picked up after he was knocked to the turf by Jackson Jeffcoat.
Well, it seems like when the Bombers step up and need a play, Jeffcoat surround the football. Nice job of not hitting them too hard rather than drawing a penalty flag. He held him up and helped him to the ground.
Crowd that was so quiet in that third quarter springs back, picks up the decibels. Harris over the top, and what a catch! Brad Sinopoli goes up and brings it down in traffic.
Well, this is twofold. First of all, Brad Sinopoli, money. I mean, just took the crowd out of it again immediately. Sinopoli with a 20-yard catch in traffic. The other side of it is, look at the blue jerseys around the ball. There's a lot of trust there from Trevor Harris to his #1 receiver at clutch time. And Brad Sinopoli
hasn't had the quantity tonight. A recent 1v1 champion might be putting himself up in contention again. Big Hill with a big stop, setting up another throwing down for Trevor Harris and company.
Well, they got another 2nd and long here because of the tackle by Adam Big Hill right in the middle of your screen.
Big Hill has 5 tackles in the ball game. Leading tackler in the Canadian Football League.
Double Sinopoli.
Harris looking his way. The one hopper, and Trevor Harris goes down, and a late flag. Looks like roughing the passer. And this will give Ottawa a first down. Tempers frayed. Harris was knocked to the turf.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Winnipeg, number 67. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Corey Johnson got to him. Him down. That is
bad decision by Corey Johnson.
Especially when that one hopped, they would have got the ball back. Now walk and march.
Bomber fans don't like the call. What they shouldn't like is the decision. He didn't have to do that, and it drew the flag.
REDBLACKS can get some real estate here and get it in field goal range for Lewis Ward. Big Hill again. And now there's a scrap. And they are going at it here. Flags everywhere. And they're still tossing them. Some haymakers down there. Von Santos Knox was into it. And will this all be offset, or is this another bad decision by the Blue Bombers?
This is where they huddle together and get all the numbers involved.
Composure has to be paramount here right now for both sides. Will they offset the calls? Which normally happens in a bit of a Donnybrook. Or did one player started?
Javon Santos Knox and Vincent Rogers were kind of in a toe-to-toe Donnybrook there for a second. I did see that.
After the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness, Ottawa, number 55. That's a 15-yard penalty. It will be 2nd down.
That's a big penalty, so Vincent Rogers takes them out of field goal range.
Well, I'll try and show you here, Sir Vincent Rogers. Watch. There's a push in the back. That's a penalty as well. But then you got the left hook here.
Oh, wow.
To Santos Knox. He could have got called.
That was a TKO.
For 2, yeah.
And this pushes Ottawa back to the 50. So penalties. Costly on both sides. Clock ticks to 11 and a half in the 4th. Trevor goes over the top, and a juggling act from William Powell. Powell sprung, gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Up near the 46, 15 yards. So it will be
probably too far for Ward. It'll be
Leone's coming out.
It'll be punt team. Adam Big Hill dropped a long way out of there to help on deeper routes and then recover to sort of flush William Powell to that side of the field. But took time off the clock and got it out of negative territory. That was a successful drive, really, when you have the lead, you're on the road for Trevor Harris.
And successful for the Bombers to keep points off the board. So a bit of a wash, but again, time the enemy. Bombers now need to score again. Line drive shot to Fogg. And a long field. Darvin Adams has made it closer and has brought us closer to the action. Some good camera work on Friday Night Football. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights, Cameras, Action. Darvin Adams is take one, calls on take two.
It's good technique. Look how he's got nice steady it up. Okay, nice.
Roll focus.
Now, there's a good shot. Nice close up. Now, Darvin has to understand, though, the camera's worth about $50K. So, but now that's a receiver, so he's got good hands. We trust him.
Laying out on the far side is Wolodarski. They are saying that's a good catch. So now the Bombers still trying to keep this comeback humming.
Hey, if a DB did that, our producer would be out of the truck saying, no. DBs don't have quite as good hand. Oh, there's nice.
There's a nice swat down on second down and a costly 2 and out. The clock ticks to 10. Fifth 2 and out for the Bomber offense.
Gabriel Tompkins open for a first down. Number 2, just the bottom corner of your screen. And without A.C. Leonard climbing the ladder and knocking that down, Bombers a new set of downs.
Former Rider, former Lion, was a receiver. Early tight end at one time. Another 50-yard boot. Oh, Deontay Spencer is just absolutely pasted downfield. Winnipeg Blue Bombers bring him down. Mike Miller, one of their special team gunners. Oh, wow. 38-21. Do not miss the final installment of the film series critics call hilarious and gloriously brainless. The last Sharknado. Maybe they can get a grizzly bear involved. I'm not sure. Sharknado, it's about time. Premiere Sunday at 9 Eastern. Only on Space. Only on Space. Sharknado.
How many is that for those? Are we in double figures or something?
The next one will also feature Donald Trump. And they've had a few of those. 9.5 to go here. Harris to Ellingson, has a good block by Sinopoli, who springs him for a few more yards. And Brad Sinopoli blocking for his buddy. The super slots work again, and Ellingson has 8 catches tonight, Glenn.
Yeah, Ellingson 8 catches, and he thought he got face masked here by Adam Bighill at the end of this play. Nice block by Sinopoli right there on Fogg in front of your screen. Got to be careful with his hands outside the shoulder pads like that.
Yard away from 100 for Ellingson. Second down, short yardage. Near the Winnipeg 50. William Powell still romping, and William Powell's had a big night. Second leading rusher coming into this week has outrun the leading rusher tonight, Andrew Harris. William Powell, big night for him.
We highlighted Evan Johnson, the left guard, before the game, and he's, other side, and he's in there for John Gott, and that was an interesting decision and one that a lot of the analysts in Ottawa were discussing at length, and that was a good block. bring William Powell there. He's played well tonight.
16-yard pickup, and they'll keep it on the turf.
I've just been impressed with Jamie Elizondo and his play calling tonight, the way he's managed this game, the way he has given Trevor Harris those quick reads, whether they saw pressure in the second half and went to those deep throws. Dominic Rhymes comes to mind, and the big one over the top. But, you know, he's found answers for the chess match between he and Richie Hall, defensive coordinator for the Bombers.
44 completions last week. 29 tonight, and again, there goes Powell, and William Powell is going to score. Touchdown, Ottawa. The seas parted, and William Powell thinking about climbing those stairs. Probably not a good idea in hostile territory. But the Ottawa REDBLACKS may have just delivered the knockout punch. And it was William Powell up the middle.
Tough to keep that fight in the dog at this point in the game for Winnipeg. I get that, but can't arm tackle a good back, and William Powell is a very good back.
Every time Winnipeg has punched back, Lewis Ward
he missed it.
Missed the point after. And there's a rarity for the REDBLACKS. They rarely go for that point after. But William Powell has the score, and that might be it for Winnipeg tonight. REDBLACKS have the bye next week. Might be enjoying some well-needed rest on their way to victory in the Peg. Will the Thrill Powell, another touchdown, 5th on the season, and the 2nd leading rusher in the Canadian Football League, has outrushed the leader tonight. William Powell, so effective.
Evan Johnson
through butter there.
Yeah, Evan Johnson and Sir Vincent Rogers opened up a massive hole off the left side of that Ottawa offensive line.
There's 7 to go. Nigel Romick is there.
Watch Evan Johnson basically wash 2 down inside, and excuse me, right here, and then you're going to get a kick out block and from Sir Vincent Rogers. So hold it right there. There's the seal block right there by Evan Johnson. Sir Vincent Rogers has the kick out on Jeffcoat, and because Adam Bighill has stepped into the inside hole, no linebacker in the 2nd level, William Powell scores.
As a state star finds the house. It's all throwing now for the Bombers, who had rallied to within 17, but all for naught, it appears right now.
Well, they don't want this, the Bombers, late in the game like this, to have
one of their keys.
Yeah, Demarcus Hardrick go down.
Pillar of that offensive line that has been so good this season.
Well, Matt Nichols took them all out for dinner. Took them all out for dinner this week. Went up to Famous Dave's, and take a look right there. That was about 1,000 for the big guys up front, just to say thank you, and it looked like Clausen rolled up underneath him from behind. Hopefully he's not too badly hurt. The big boys can hunker down when the quarterback takes them out. And the quarterback gets the tap. And I asked Matt about it. He said, yeah, it was, you know, the restaurant helped us in a big way, but it would have been $1,000 bucks.
Trevor Harris took his line out this week as well. They went for sushi, and apparently they just rushed it. So it must have been quarterback take your O-line all week.
Well, maybe it was the food they chose, because the Winnipeg O-line, I think it's barbecue.
Yeah.
And sushi, maybe a little lighter on their, I don't know.
Maybe. So you're trending that. I mean, that may be something for Derek Taylor.
Oh, that's not good news.
This is not.
Yeah, that's not good news at all.
Yeah, Jamarcus Hardwick has been so good for this Winnipeg team. Try to get a report from Sarah on the sideline, but first indication is not good. I hate to have this happen, especially when a game that's gotten out of hand.
Yeah, nothing, you know, there's not a lot you can do about it as a coach. I mean, you'd like to take some of your starters when, you know, you're on the wrong side or the right side of these kind of scores, but the rosters are too small really to do that. So, and that was just unlucky because he got rolled on from behind.
Second down and 10. We're just trying to keep hope alive. Looks like the Red Blacks have moved, maybe a free one here, and over the top crossing for Tompkins. Former NFLer.
Oh boy.
And now Matt Nichols is down and he's hurt. And he is really grimacing. Trying to get up. It's forearm or wrist or elbow. Matt Nichols has to go to the sideline.
Yeah, he's gonna kneel down, so that gives Strebler
offside. Ottawa, number 43. That penalty's declined. First down.
Jonathan Newsom right here at the bottom of your screen, number 43. He jumps offside, and I believe it's Newsom that makes the hit. It is.
Kind of jammed that arm. So Matt Nichols going to the sideline, and Chris Strebler comes in. Guy who started the season when Nichols was hurt. Guy's got a lot of fire in his belly, who's Strebler, and Nichols is going to try to work that arm out on the sideline. Strebler loves to romp with the football. He can run it. He can gun it too. First pass complete to Tompkins. Guy used to catch passes from Tom Brady in New England.
Yeah, you know, Matt Nichols is trying to loosen up that elbow again, and this is real good news that at least he's throwing down there. It doesn't look too bad, the injury, but I'm not sure I put him back in anyway.
Andrew Harris has half the first down yardage. Clock ticks to 5:40.
We've seen big time comebacks, especially in the CFL, but
23 with 5.5. Strebler has to dance now. Back to Tompkins, who's been busy on this drive.
But you know what this will do? Especially if Chris Strebler plays well in this remaining 5 minutes. Now he's playing against a softer Ottawa look defensively.
It'll get people talking is what you're saying?
Well, Matt Nichols at 4-1 coming into this game took a lot of heat this week. The Winnipeg fan base, and Paul LaPolice and Michael O'Shea were both defending their quarterback, of course, saying, hey, we're winning football games. We run the ball more than anybody. That takes throws away from Nichols. Came to his defense, as they should. And this is his team. He's the leader of this team. Big night for Adams.
And nice catch again. Strebler looking good on this drive.
Well, you can bet if
deep ball tonight a couple of times. Tonight is all about the Ottawa REDBLACKS defense.
Yeah,
and what they've
exactly.
Done.
And Trevor Harris with those 4 to 5 minute drives.
Ball control.
Exactly. They were going 70 yards, 10 plays, 9 plays. That's a good sign too, getting that.
Some weight on it.
A little more weight on the ankle.
It's a fan favorite here. Fan favorite in the end zones.
Yeah.
We hope the best for Jamarcus Hardwick. This Winnipeg team will go to Calgary next week, and talked about it before. Ottawa will go on the bye, and it's time to get ready for Labor Day weekend soon. It's hard to believe it's already here. Season flying by. At the unofficial midway point tonight. This week 10. So we have a Ottawa REDBLACK down as well. Linebacker Kevin Brown. You know what's funny is that we've talked about it so many times in the season that you break down into sixes. First 6 games, the middle 6, the last 6. Is that every team, I guess with the exception of the Calgary Stampeders right now, is kind of struggling with consistency. And you try to find your rhythm. You try to get your rhythm.
I think that second tier is great parity. You know, and if you have 2 bad turnovers that picked up, you know, it can slip away on you in a hurry. And you know, and Rick Campbell has seen that happen to him against the Toronto Argonauts a couple of games ago. So, you know, there's great parity in the league, and you have to be on your game or you can be beat. Now, Calgary is the exception so far. They've got a challenge on their hands coming up with Saskatchewan in town this weekend.
Nichols back in the game. Langford goes incomplete, and that will turn the ball over and tick it down to the 3-minute warning, and the Ottawa REDBLACKS can pretty much safely put this one in the win column. It'll be a very interesting week as the Bombers get ready for Calgary. And work to do for Mike O'Shea. Was a very realistic guy, the Hall of Fame player. And
yeah, hey, give credit where credit's due, and respect for the opponent. I mean, this is a good Ottawa team, first place in their division, and they came in here. And,
they brought it.
Yeah. And
faced a lot of heat, though. Ottawa team that came in here on a mission. Well, this guy's had an outstanding night, William Powell.
Yeah, they've gone to the run late in this game, of course, and that's a great strategy from Ottawa with the lead. Trevor Harris sitting at 29 for 39 for 361. But had this been a closer game, he was pushing over 400. He was going to keep chucking it.
3-minute warning till the Ottawa REDBLACKS officially record their 6th win of the season. Well, diversity is strength. It is the theme of the Canadian Football League. It's the theme of our country. And Abi Khan is so emblematic of that. Pakistani descent. Muslim faith. Abby, a former Bomber, who has shawarma Khan, has a couple of restaurants, including one right here in Investors Group Field.
I'll tell you what, there's a Stiegel wrap, I think. There's a, what is it called? The Wrath of Khan?
The Wrath of Khan. Dwayne Ward crushes like three of those.
Stiegel salad. It was a Stiegel.
Yeah,
Stiegel. Because he only eats salads.
Yeah, he is.
So Stiegel salad. I had one of those bad boys, and I'll tell you what, they are top notch. And after you eat them, you need a shower. I mean, because there's stuff everywhere. It tastes so good, you just got to keep on.
You didn't leave for a half an hour. I had a shower.
I love
But they're awesome. And Abby Khan is an awesome guy. He was a great player when he played.
No question.
Out of SFU when he came into the league. Twice in an expansion draft, both times drafted second.
Said his favorite quarterback, or the one that he respected.
KG.
Yep. Kevin Glenn.
Wasn't it neat to see the emotion in Abby when he knew that, he was being honored in this way?
Yeah,
As the guy in Winnipeg, and all the coaches and the staff of the Bombers wearing that number 60 here tonight.
Well, that's what this league is all about.
It is.
It is. It is what makes us stronger. The diversity, and when you talk about African-American black quarterbacks that have got an opportunity to play in Canada.
Got the first start here.
That didn't get a chance to play south of the border at that time. That has all changed. They were first female
general managers.
Exactly.
Ottawa Rough Riders. I mean, it really is kind of a microcosm of our country. Geographically and culturally, we are so diverse. Makes this place special. Makes this game special. There's a great one in Leroy Blue, who's a guy who has coached at the college level and
another outstanding football player in his
Hall
time.
of Famer.
Oh yeah.
I know it.
Good man. That's what this league is full of. So many good people. They honor Joanne Pollock, and it's also as well as Moten Hopkins, who, when Moten was growing up, faced a lot of bullying issues, and that's the beauty of diversity, is the adversity that you can conquer.
Timeout, Ottawa.
Great initiative by the league to do this, and also when we honor our military on nights like tonight here in Winnipeg, to say thank you to the military, a chance to get them at a football game, get them together, hanging out with their squadron. And boy, in today's day and age, in the world that we live in today, thank goodness we have got guys and women that are fighting the cause and protecting our way of life and protecting people they've never met.
They're having a great time here tonight. See a lot of the subs likely in the ball game, but plentifully flagged down as they
and Rod,
flying downfield.
Well, I've had so many opportunities to sit and talk when I go up to Cold Lake with military members, and they when we talk about football as the ultimate team game, boy, are they tight. They are a tight-knit group, and they have each other's back. And when you are around, they're having fun tonight and relaxing and putting their feet up a little bit, and they deserve that. But when you're around them in their work environment, they've got their back, they've got each other's back, they've got your back.
Illegal block. Winnipeg, number 2.
Chance to go overseas. Sarah Orlesky did as well last couple of years, and getting into the theater. You see it, and go to Crete and Kuwait and Ukraine, where there are hostilities there, and you see some of the young people that are absolute leaders and heroes.
It's inspiring. It really is. I walk out of there. I walk out of those meetings all the time when I leave Cold Lake. I think I can do better. I can be better. That's the way I walk out of every one of those get-togethers, because that's what happens when you're around them.
Down goes Matt Nichols, and might think that Mike O'Shea might say that might be enough for Matt here tonight. With 1:19 to go, AC Leonard with a sack.
Well, I think Matt's probably fighting to finish it, and and I get it, but I'm with you. I think you hit it your elbow or whatever that issue was a few plays ago, No need now to just take unnecessary hits.
A Bomber O-line that is tied for first in the CFL in sacks allowed. Still throwing that football. There was a flag down. Looked like Ottawa jumped.
Boy, this fight in this West Division is going to be interesting.
Offside. Ottawa, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, the good news is we had a delicious shawarma courtesy of Abby Khan tonight.
Yes, we
did. Good news is we got the chance to see and meet some of our heroes in the military. You know what the bad news is? We didn't come close in the 50-50.
Oh, didn't we?
No. Big one tonight. 190,000. Wolotarski. Inside a minute.
You know, it's funny because a lot of times I hear that when a team is up and down a little bit, coming off a couple wins, and then they have a game like Winnipeg had and gets a good Ottawa team, people say, well, where's the consistency from Winnipeg? And that's taking that half-empty side. I mean, you got to respect the opponent. This was two good teams, both with the same records coming in tonight. Michael O'Shea knew it and was telling anybody that would listen, they're facing a very good team against Ottawa here tonight, and Ottawa was saying the same thing. This game is not a reflection of the Bombers, and that this is what to expect moving forward. They'll bounce back from this.
There's a one-handed grab on the far side by Harris. Mark Campbell has always one of the most interesting quotes. Says if you're not improving, you're going backwards.
Yeah, well,
it's all about improving and getting consistent. He was really jacked up when we talked yesterday about how important this game was to get to 6-3, create some room in the East. Well, a player down on that far side. It's Kevin Brown again.
He may be having some cramp problems.
Time now for our Nissan Titan player of the game. Here's a no-brainer.
Wow, you look at his back-to-back games now, and if not for the lopsided score, late turnovers turned into touchdowns, you know, he gets up over 400 passing. But bang on in the completion percentage department, looked really good there again. 361, 0 interceptions against the #1 team in the league, intercepting the football defensively in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And now Trevor Harris's last 2 games,
monstrous,
almost 80%, 848, 2-1. I mean, and look at, 93 attempts. Don't you love this? You got to love that about Canadian football too. 93 attempts in 2 games.
And what's a little deceiving about those touchdown passing numbers might have been more when you consider that they were stopped close to the goal line. And Dominic Davis had a couple of punch-ins.
Yeah.
William Powell's close in. I mean, that's kind of been the thing. One of the reasons that Lewis Ward has had 24 makes in a row is that, that their offense is kind of stalled, but they've still been able to get points. Tonight, they didn't stall so much, and they were able to punch balls in. Trevor Harris was outstanding, our Nissan Titan player of the game. And Matt Nichols is sacked once more. It might be best for Matt Nichols to...
I'm a little surprised they left him in here for this last couple of minutes. I really am. After hurting the elbow, and I'm knowing Matt Nichols and talking to him a bunch. I'm sure he went up to Michael O'Shea and said, "Hey, I'm going to go down with the guys. We're going to do this together."
But you don't want to go down for any longer than this game.
But he's taken 2 or 3 hits now, where this game has been way out of reach. So. I got him out.
Nothing really good can happen.
No, exactly.
Wolotarski gets a little shove, setting up what is likely the final play of this. In the first half, first quarter, it's a 1-point ball game, and looked like we might have some drama here tonight in a close finish. Not so. Third quarter was really the difference. Nichols still winging it out down the sideline, jump ball, and Matt Nichols is picked off by Jonathan Rose. That will end the ball game. Well, there's 2 seconds to go. They're going to bring the offense back on the field. Third turnover tonight by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Second pick of the season for Jonathan Rose. He Gave up one in the first quarter to Darvin Adams, but nice interception there. Went up and high-pointed that ball.
Red Blacks, who were swept by Winnipeg last year, will now take the lead in the career series since they came back into the league at 5-4. Get this win tonight. It's a great night for Trevor Harris, and good night, Winnipeg. Trevor Harris does it again. High efficiency, puts his team on his shoulders and leads them to victory. Now it's off to a rest week for the Red Blacks, who increased their lead in the CFL East, now 6-3. Tomorrow doubleheader, BC Lions and the Argos at BMO Field. And then tomorrow the Alouettes and the Edmonton Eskimos. Big win for the Red Blacks tonight in Winnipeg, 44-21. Good night from Manitoba. Here comes SportsCenter.